But now I don't see those cobbles and curbs. I don't hear the blues anymore.
Rough Trade is giving away a third of the first 3 months of the Rough Trade Club plus new music membership exclusively to 101 Part-Time Jobs listeners. Become a member of Rough Trade Club New Music and you'll receive the Rough Trade Album of the Month straight to your door every month on exclusive vinyl pressing with exclusive bonus material. Club members have received exclusive pressings of albums from Sufjan Stevens, Sprints, The Last Dinner Party, Julie Byrne, and Over Mono, just to name a few, this past year alone. Sign up using the promo code CLUB101POD and you'll get the Rough Trade Album of the Month, English Teacher's excellent debut album, This Could Be Texas, on exclusive Galaxy Gold for a third of the usual price. Here's English Teacher on a recent episode of 101.
How many opportunities do you get to write a debut album and have all of this, sport behind us? I don't know, I really like the idea of holding the bar as being like classic songs.
You only get one shot at a debut.
Don't want the album of the month but still want all the benefits? Sign up to the standard tier using Club 101 Pod and you'll still get the first month free. You'll also get free shipping on all orders, 10% off the bar and on secondhand vinyl in-store, and exclusive access to sold-out Rough Trade events. So don't hang around. Go to roughtrade.com/club and sign up with the code CLUB101POD. That's CLUB101POD and claim money off the album of the month, English Teachers This Could Be Texas, today. This offer's available to UK residents only. Do you play in bands? I did for the longest time. And I wish that I knew that DistroKid was a thing. I don't even think it existed back then. DistroKid makes music distribution fun and easy with unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of your royalties and earnings. 1 million plus artists rely on DistroKid to get their music on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, Instagram, and all the major streaming services. When you get DistroKid, you can see a DistroKid bank and withdraw your earnings. You get notified when you've earned royalties and you can withdraw via the app. And you can even check your streaming stats on Spotify and Apple. Get 30% off your first year on DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. 30% off for your first year. That's not bad. We know it's a tough world out there. Why don't you make it easier for yourself? And to get 30% off that free year as an artist, where you get 100% of your royalties and earnings, go to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. All right, stay with me. I'll be right back after this.
The Vietnam War, it's over. Your job has just begun.
A new HBO original limited series.
Welcome to the world of spycraft. Strap in.
From executive producers Park Chan-wook and Robert Downey Jr.
What are you concealing?
Based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Viet Thanh Nguyen.
What if I told you that I was a communist spy?
How did you become this?
The Sympathizer, streaming April 14th on Max. Subscription required.
Hey there! Did you know Baker's always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices? And when you download the Baker's app, you'll enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. And don't forget fuel points to help you save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. Want to save even more? With a Boost membership, you'll get double fuel points and free delivery. So shop and save big at Baker's today. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
I'm 100, I want part-time jobs. I'm 100, I want part-time jobs. I've been working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Hi, you're listening to 101 Part-Time Jobs with me, Giles Bidder. It's Friday. Usually put episodes out on Tuesday or Thursday, but sometimes you gotta cram them in, you gotta put them in. There's so many records being released all the time. So many interesting folks with stories that you wouldn't believe. No, I like sharing this stuff. This is real human connection. I was just thinking about how I think my biggest thing in life is wanting to learn and listen, and I'm lucky I get to do this every day. Thank you for joining me. On today's episode we got Murkage Dave. I had him on for the first time last year when his album The City Needs a Hero came out, and he's just released Part 2, The City Needs Part 2. The second part, the theme of the artwork is there. I feel like David is misunderstood. I feel like he gets called a rapper a lot. Feels like his name should be Murkage Dave, open brackets, not a rapper, close brackets. A bit of an underdog. We get into this. We talk about algorithms, Spotify, what that means for an artist like himself, where his phone bill is his main outgoing, and he's building a world. From his first album, Murkage Dave changed my life. He connected with a great audience, a great fan base, and I feel like it's happening more and more. We find these bands, we find these records, and we're like, wow, they exist in their own world, in their own bubble. And I guess it's a debate for another time whether some stuff is underrated or overrated, and we go into those sweeping kind of conversations. But I'm going to hold back from the temptation to say that Murkage Dave is underrated, because you know what? There's loads of people that love his tunes. I love his tunes. He's got such a great writing style. It's a real journal. You feel like you get to know him, and like books do, we find out more about ourselves by hearing about someone else's life. So look, cheers for listening to 101 Part-Time Jobs. If you like this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review. That stuff takes a few seconds. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, thank you so much if you're able to do that. 2000 Trees Festival supports the show. Great independent festival in Cheltenham, just a few hours away from London on the train. They've announced a hella lineup with the Gaslight Anthem headlining. Hella, I'm sorry I said that. Manchester Orchestra, Hot Mulligan, Dune Rats, The Mysterines, Gouge Away, Teenage Wrist, Boston Manor. They've also just announced Creeper. What a brilliant band. If you're looking for a festival to head to next July, head to 2000 Trees. Amazing independent festival. You go there, you feel the love, you feel the spirit, you feel a connection with the people around you, with the bands. Even the food ain't that expensive. It's a good time, right? It's a good time. Tickets right now are the cheapest they'll ever be. Go and get them from 2000trees.co.uk. You can refund before Christmas if you realise you can't make the date. We all know what that's like. 2000trees.co.uk, and head to one of the best independent music festivals in the world. Okay, before we get into this chat, I've got Rebecca from Ampolo here. Ampolo is the first all-in-one app connecting a global community of musicians and bringing an all-in-one place to practice, record, and collaborate. Until now, practicing has been kind of lonely. There's been technical barriers. These are all things that Ampolo is working to make your life better for. Isn't that right, Rebecca? What's going on over there?
Hey, it's quite expensive getting yourself to a recording studio, to a practice room, taking your instruments there, hiring the room out, food, travel, everything that comes with that. You can now record and practice with each other from the comfort of your own home, and the audio quality is amazing. And you can look back at what you've done and what you look like. So it's a real great tool to sit alongside any musician from any level.
Ampolo, get on it sooner than later. All right, here we go. It's Murkage Dave on 101 Part-Time Jobs. 101 Part-Time Jobs. Hey, I was listening to the record this morning.
Okay.
And it coming out on it came out today or yesterday? Midnight?
Yeah, it came out midnight, yeah.
What's it like? Why Thursday to release a record?
I don't really like putting music out on Friday because, I don't know. I mean, I don't like charting's not really, I don't know. I don't really think about it. I thought about it once and that got me in a bit of problems. When you put music out on a Friday, right, then it's a weekend. As an independent artist, your main tool of promoting your music is social media. Like I said today, my only budget is my phone bill. So like, if you put out a song on a Friday, social media is always down on the weekend. It's like the interaction's down. So you can't, and by Monday, people are thinking about something else. So it's so it's like, I prefer to put, actually, I think I wanted to put this out on a Wednesday. I think we had to move it back one day for some reason. But yeah, I very rarely put music out on a Friday. And actually, even for like, if you're trying to get, you know, like PR, like stuff on like websites and stuff like that, it's better to be ahead. I think if you're on a major label and Friday's the day that you release, then cool. But I'm fighting artists on major labels. Not physically, not yet. But artists on major labels, I'm fighting Rich Kids, I'm fighting all of these people. So I need to give myself, if I can get ahead. And plus, you never know what drops on a Friday. Like sometimes like Drake will drop or like Beyonce will drop. And it's just like, forget about it.
It's interesting, right? Because then, you know, you saying that, then it starts to give me and people listening to this like a frame of how you operate, right? As an independent artist, making a sustain, like either trying to or successfully or both of those things at the same time, be sustainable. I mean, you said earlier there that you know your main budget is on your phone bill. A lot of people are going out there on tour and like losing money that way. You know, and I've done that. You know, I went on tour and lost money all the time thinking, oh, we'll make money. We never did in the end. So like this kind of, I don't want to say 21st century, but it's like the last kind of 2020 really version of lockdown and beyond, like that version of being like, okay, how can I reach the people I'm speaking to directly? And not to be crude about it, because it isn't this, but Patreon has shown us this in a cool way, that if you had 100,000 listeners, which is totally reasonable, then if all of them paid £4 a month to you, you're starting to look at a model where, like a business model, where it's like, cool, I can survive on this. My fans get what they want and we can all live in harmony. You know, but when you start thinking like that, you're like, okay, I don't fucking need the charts. I don't need Sony, UMG, the rest of it. Like, this is me. Like, we'll always need independent music and art, you know? And like this, maybe this is the way to go about it.
I was having this conversation with a friend the other day, and who used to make music and maybe will dabble again. But he was saying to me, he doesn't get it. Like, why would you invest all your time in going towards, you know, Spotify, Apple, all the other DSPs? But one thing that I will say, and that I said to him, is that somehow Spotify have managed to trick everyone in the music industry that the Spotify monthly listener number is a sign of how big you are. And so I think that's the only reason why you still need to, as an independent artist, I still need to push people towards, I mean, it's obviously it's the easiest way for people to access music. So I would never say to people, don't go to Spotify. But really, the thing is that bookers for festivals don't even look at ticket sales really anymore. They don't have the time. They just go on Spotify and look at your monthly listeners, and it's ridiculous because that number is a sign of how many passive listeners you have, not how many engaged listeners you have. It's about how many playlists you're on, and how many, like it's like an aggregation. It's not. It doesn't show really like how many like passionate listeners you have or whatever. So it's a number that works really well for Spotify. It's about how much people are using their app. But they've somehow, I don't know how they've gotten to do this, where like everyone looks at it, like kids look at it, like bookers look at it, like brands look at it. So you still, even though you're right, like I would love to just do Patreon, Bandcamp, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, bro, imagine, and this is a mad thing, right? So my monthly listeners, compared to like my fan base, my monthly listeners are like quite bad. I would say that they go up and down, but they're quite bad. So on my last tour, I got sent like a deck of artists that their management had submitted them to support me, right? Every single one of those artists had like triple, maybe quadruple my monthly listeners. So everybody knows that it's bullshit, because you wouldn't be trying to you wouldn't be trying to get your artists to support me if you thought that you were 4 times bigger than me. So everyone knows it's bullshit, but somehow still it becomes this kind of like number. A lot of people are losing money. Like festivals are losing money, bookers are losing money, and I'm like, well, why are you booking stuff on a number that doesn't equate to ticket sales? I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't. And actually, credit to Spotify, because the fact that they've gotten people to believe this is amazing for them. But it's heartbreak for me. I've only done one music festival.
That's wild.
And when I did that music festival, I had people turning up with banners, making their own merch. Like, people made bootleg T-shirts. Like, it was mad, bro. Like, it was a shutdown. Yeah. You think bookers would look at that and go, okay, this guy's got a very engaged fan base. But they just look at Spotify monthly listeners. So the unfortunate thing is until the model changes, which it will change, technology always changes. Until the model changes, you do still have to play the DSP game, because otherwise, you just kind of end up kind of like getting caught in this vacuum. Because I still need to be able to play festivals and like do the odd brand thing or whatever. Like, this is part of what makes up how you have a healthy career as a musician.
101 part-time jobs, 101 part-time jobs.
Yeah, because the technology is going to change. I think also people, what you're seeing is people actually making music based on these things. So like, oh, if I can make a song with this person and this person, they've got this market, they've got that market, I've got that market. All these monthly listeners is going to create this thing. But it's like, bro, like the song is trash. Like do you remember like Landfill Indie? Like after Arctics got signed and then all these bands got signed, and then you look back now and everyone's just laughing, right? I'm telling you now, there's going to be another era of that where like all this music that people are making for the algorithm, because it's like I get it. You're trying to survive. I get it, but I always try and think, well, the one thing that I'm not going to play with is the music. The music has to always. Otherwise, I may as well just work in a bank.
You can't fuck with something that's got soul, something that's come from a real place, something that's got real energy. That's actually like, you can't grasp that concept, but you know it when you're hearing something.
Yeah, that's because it's in here, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about the record, because I've got like the message that I kind of got from it is one, like, you know, the first part, I feel like this is symbolic in the artwork as well, right? Because the first one, you got your head in your hands. This one, you're looking up. You know, that is like symbolic to me as, all right, okay, like I'm owning this. I'm going to take control. You know, the next record will be you standing up, you know, and I get, you know, and like, but the message that I got, it's like you come into your own skin, and, you know, you talk about it on the record about not really, you know, learning not to give a fuck what other people think or how people fail to contextualize you and your music. And that's like sewn into the patchwork of your personal life. And we talked on the first episode we did, that, you know, how ingrained your life was to clubbing and that culture and that, like, that work. A few of the lyrics that like stuck out with me at first on this couple of listens has been, you know, do you have to fuck people over to get high up in this game? Oh no, I want to see the good guys win. The freezing up when you were younger, singing never singing Ollie, Ollie, Ollie again. You know, being like a struggle rapper I mean, maybe I'm naive, but I hadn't heard that phrase
but I'm not
before
saying
this.
that I am. I'm just saying that I'm sending out my songs like a struggle rapper would.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, though. But like this is the SoundCloud generation of like, you know, this is the hustle. This is the work. I feel like you're really like coming into your own skin. That sounds a bit stereotypical, doesn't it? But it feels like, you know, with the personal stuff, and I know there's that one track where you talk about, you know, your ex-girlfriend and like being like happy for them, and that's real shit. That's you don't get much more fucking real than that. I mean, I've, you know, even within friends, conversations between friends, people don't get as real as that all the time. I mean, how do you sum up this record? I mean, I know I just said all that. Like, that's the way I frame it. Am I somewhere along the right sort of lines?
No, you're 100% right. I think that it may be some things that I don't say in conversation, but you can put it in music. But I think that like this record, The City Needs Part 2 versus like The City Needs a Hero, is a bit more like, I don't know. I think there's elements of this album that are more like self-destructive, I think, and more like paranoid and stuff. But then there's elements of it that are more like escapist and more like positive. I don't know. I think it's a bit more of a schizophrenic album in terms of like the directions that I'm heading in. But yeah, man.
Are you a peaceful person generally?
I'm just glad that you've listened to the record and you've picked up on some good bits there, because sometimes I do stuff and people haven't even heard one song.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way the music industry works, doesn't it? I mean, lots of people are. I mean, mate, I'm still on the blag, just so you know. But I listen to the records. That's the one thing you should do, you know. And actually, you know, by not doing the research, you're missing out, because it's art and it's enjoyable. But I mean, are you at peak? You say it's more schizophrenic than The City Needs a Hero.
Yeah.
I mean, does it feel like a long way on from that? I mean, how at peace? I mean, look, this is probably as personal a question as, you know, we can get, really. But I mean, do you feel at peace with yourself and as an artist, you know, someone who, you know, you want to wake up every day, I imagine, and be like sick, you know, feel inspired, feel like, you know, feel the colors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feel like buzzing to get up and make yourself a brew. How at peace are you with that now at the moment?
I think I'm in a place where I think since the pandemic, like, so my first album, Murkage Dave Changed My Life, which actually the other day has been out for 5 years, which is mad. But like that album was like, when I was making that album, I didn't fully have the confidence. But I think in a way, the naivety has given it this thing where it's just become this cult album for people, where it's like, you know, people are like, that's their favorite album ever. Like with my second album, I feel like it was the pandemic, and so I'd been on tour and I'd broken through as a solo artist, and it was the pandemic, and I was forced to write. And I think what's happened is now, I was saying this the other day, like it's kind of like a plane like taking off. So like the plane on that second album is taken off, where now I'm just writing music all the time. I wouldn't say I'm at peace, because but I think that there's always that tension as an artist is what kind of like sometimes can motivate the art. I'm not saying like you have to suffer for your art, but it's more like you see things as they are, and you want to like fill in some gaps, or you want to like answer some questions. And that's kind of what motivates me to make stuff. So I'm coming up with like, you know, like not songs, but like 10, 12 ideas a day. And then, so it's for me now, it's just, I'm just in this flow, and where I'm just, because I'm halfway through like my next project already. So I'm just in a flow where I'm working. So I think, I wouldn't say I'm at peace, because there's like, you know,
do you need that kind of, not worry, but do you need that kind of fucking, come on, like, I don't want to be dead wood?
I think there's always that kind of element of like, am I going to be able to keep doing this? And And also, like,
because you're not working for someone else. You're not it's almost like I imagine it's a very similar thing to being a freelancer compared to being employed and being on PAYE, because when you're a freelancer, like, if you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a trade-off there. There's a trade-off.
I think there's an element of that. But I think also there's an element of, I feel like I'm in like the wrong algorithm at the moment. And I feel like that's something that will, but to be honest, mate, like, I've always been like an outsider, like, in every way. But the thing is, right now, I'm in this kind of like algorithm as an artist where, like, I feel like, because I basically make pop music, but because I'm not like white and 19 years old, people can't get it, so they're like, oh, like, you're a rapper, like, and so I kind of, I've ended up in, like, I'm not all the way in this algorithm, but it's like people are trying to put me in this algorithm. I'm not in it, but like people are trying to like put me in this lane.
Music industry's lazy, you know, and I can say that because I've been lazy before. Right. You know, I've made those mistakes as a writer about, like we said, there have been records I haven't listened to all the way through, and but unfortunately, I feel like it's not going to change. You know, the music industry is all of a sudden going to become really aware and realize that music is art.
No, but I think I went through a similar struggle where at least people see me as an artist. There was one point where it was like, oh, he's Mike Skinner's mate, or he's Mike Skinner's hype man, or he's a DJ, or he's a, you know, whatever. And so I've broken through that, and like now people are like, oh, he's an artist, but people are like, oh, he's a rap artist. You know, not everybody, but I think people that aren't paying attention. But the problem is when you get funneled in that direction, you know, and then I'll people be like, oh, you worked with Caroline Polachek. That's such a weird pairing. Like, how did that happen? It's like, well, no, mate. Like, you're just listening with your eyes. Like, our music's like not that, like,
no,
like,
yeah, and especially on a lyrically, sorry to cut you off there, but like on like that kind of attitude, emotional level, you know, it's storytelling. It's very kind of, it's beneath the skin. You know, it makes total sense.
Yeah, and she found me. She started following me. I was just like, walk on, like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, like, I learned to drive to your album. She's like, I got all my driving lessons in LA to your album. So it's just like, well, like, but and that's just one example. But I think the only reason I bring it up, because you asked me, am I at peace? But I think that's something that is a point of frustration for me at the moment. But like I say, like, even like that is, I have to understand that that's a privilege. Like, there's artists that reach out to me asking me questions. Oh, can you do this? Can I support you on this? And they're still at a point where they're trying to just get things solid, you know, in terms of like having a fan base and stuff. So I always need to remember that like, I don't want to become like a prima donna.
When you wake up, how are you in the studio every day? What's your setup? What are you know, what is your like daily routine like? What gets you excited? What's your dream week?
Well, my dream week and what I'm actually doing is a bit different. I mean, I don't have a studio. I used to have like a basic room, but they're all gone in London now. You can't, it's not possible. When I go out of town, then like my friends have studios, but in London, if I go to the studio, like, obviously my guy Cause, who like exec produces everything, mixes everything, he has a sick studio, and that's my guy. So I'll go and finish everything with him. But if it's not that, if I go and meet up with an artist, we might just go Pirate Studios, or Levi's have a studio that they let me use sometimes. Like, I was in a studio in Manchester the other day, or Birmingham, or whatever. There tends to be more resource outside of London. I don't think, like, I don't know if you can even rent a studio in London for like less than $1,000. I don't know how much it works a month.
Yeah, you must have a lot of mates from your years DJing. I mean, I imagine you don't want to, like, you're a songwriter now, and those experiences you had in the DJ scenes, like, hopefully the idea is that you're going to remember those times with like good memories, right? You're like, that was a sick time.
Yeah,
that was great. You got quite a few mates from those scenes that you can go up and visit now and maybe even like work on some tunes with. Does that happen?
Oh, for 100%. It's like a massive contributing factor to like my network when I think about who I link up with in, not just in the UK, like just like overseas as well. So definitely. And you know what? Like I really miss DJing. I'm like, it's the one thing from that period. I don't want to run a club night again, but I really miss DJing like so much. Yeah. Like, do you know Elijah who does the yellow stickers? He always says that people should DJ as a hobby. He says everyone should DJ as a hobby. Like you know, like how people do gardening or something like that. And I really want to like just get back into DJing. And who knows, like maybe I think I'd like to kind of like do sets, but just more for people that are into my music. I don't want to play for like drunk people that are just trying to have a good time. Although, you know,
it's funny.
The other day, you know, that was us.
That was us. Yeah, we were loving it. But the thing is, right, you can be pissed and dance and be 100% respectful to the people around you. Yeah. Although sometimes you've got to let people know. I saw Eva, my girlfriend, she was dancing and like you just saw gradually people move away, like just a little bit, just to give her some space because she was throwing some shapes. But you know, that's still respectful,
she was
right?
The best dancer there.
She was.
But I feel like we're giving people a bit too much behind the curtain now. You know, my bad.
I mean,
my bad.
DJing, right? It's like it is for the soul, isn't it? It's not. It's very easy. I mean, again, I've been guilty of this. Being like, nah, I'm not going to the club because I have this idea of what it's like, and I'm too scared of it, or I don't want to do. Like, it depends what the DJ's playing. It depends what the venue's like. It depends what the other people, what the bar staff are like, especially what the bouncers are like.
Oh, massively.
You know, it's all of these things.
The bouncers are the entry to the. I always used to have like when I was a club promoter. I used to like get into quite a few things with doormen, and I would like, but there's so many great doormen, but like
loads of great doormen, but loads of shit ones.
Yeah, and I would always say to the venue, nah, I don't like. These are the people that I want. You want doormen that are like, they gotta look tough, yeah, but they can't look like they could get rolled on, right? But but like pleasant, respectful, not a fucking evil sexist. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not a racist. Like, all these things, like that. And what I found as well is that the worst doormen, they get off on being pricks to the punters. But then if someone turns up that they're not supposed to let in, they just let them in because they're scared of them. So like, what's that about? You're doing it the wrong way. You're treating the punters like dickheads, and then you're letting someone who might who might cause trouble, who's known for causing trouble, just walk in.
Maybe I'm naive, but surely there's a harmonious relationship for bouncers to be sound so that everyone enjoys it, goes there more, spends more money there because they're bringing their mates along, and the bouncers and the promoter and the venue owners are all working to make somewhere a safe place. And I mean safe in two ways there, you know?
Yeah. No, there's loads of, and like, I think like when my club night in Manchester hit that sweet spot and it was rocking like every week, that's when we had that door team where like they were tough, but they were lovely guys. The club night that I used to run was like a composite of like, I was trying to find the best thing that I liked about this type of party and the best thing I liked about this type of party and bring it all together to create something that was like a really good experience for people.
Yeah.
Whereas I think like maybe when I first moved to Manchester and I was like, I remember like I used to be like working for people that did parties at like, I don't know, like Tigers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you get some doormen that were like, they were in it for beating people up.
Like if someone
if someone did one wrong thing, Yeah, that you get
bullshit.
And back then there wasn't like the cameras weren't like you could just get dragged in the Printworks. The Printworks, not the one in London. The Printworks in Manchester. There was like a whole like complex of like fire exits, like these kind of concrete like tunnels underneath all the clubs. Yeah, if you ended up in there with some doormen, it was a wrap, mate.
It's a fucking gang TV show style.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
101 part-time jobs. 101 part-time jobs. 101 part-time jobs. 101 part-time jobs. Thanks so much, David. I love these chats. Thank you for telling me these stories. I think it's all about the storytelling for me. That's what it's all about. I like to end these asking, in a storytelling mindset, like, it's about part-time jobs, but like all artists, all people making stuff, you're delegating your own 101 part-time jobs. So within that kind of confines, I mean, for you, I imagine there were some times in DJing that you had some gaffes, some work fuck-ups, some work mistakes, some situations that you had to traverse and like kind of be some kind of diplomat or like, be a bureaucratic person. When I ask about like work fuck-ups or the sort of funniest or like kind of just generally worst times in your kind of work life, what kind of comes to mind? Anything pop out there?
You mean like a worst job or just like a moment?
A moment or a mistake either you've done or someone else has done that you have to clean the mess up after.
I mean when I think back to my days in like club nights, I mean it's just a zillion, man. It's where do I even start? Especially running clubs in Manchester in the noughties, like that's insane. One of the things that happened that was pretty mad was I remember the DJ booth was massive and we'd have like 20 people in there, 30 people, 40 people. My whole thing was like there's no hierarchy. Everyone can just go everywhere. So I would just let people in the DJ booth, which was chaos. But I remember like, that's that Waka Flocka song. I go hard in the motherfucking paint. That was the biggest song at that point, right? And I remember like, we used to just, we would jump in the crowd, jump up on the desk and just do mad stuff. And I jumped on my mate's back to that song. But like, he's like a weightlifter, right? But for some reason, I mean, to be fair, I was pretty big back then actually. I was probably a good 5 stone heavier than I am now. But like, he just buckled, right? And I just fell and just threw my arm out. And my arm just came out of the socket. And I'm on the floor, everyone's laughing, taking pictures, all that stuff. I got carried out of my own party and put in an ambulance. And like I got in the ambulance and they would, do you know what was mad? Because I guess they'd pick me up at a club and they just see this all the time. I never really used to get that drunk when I was doing parties. I think I'd had like maybe 1 drink, 2 drinks, something. They just were talking to me like I was pissed. So I was like, oh, like blah, blah, blah. And they were just like, yeah. They were just like, whatever, mate. Like, they were just speaking to me like it was just like any drunk dickhead. And I was like, no, this is my party and I'm working. And they were just like, whatever.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's
I
funny.
remember I got to the hospital and I was waiting ages to get seen. That's one of the worst pain I ever had. And they brought me in eventually, seen this young doctor, and he went, this is the stuff they gave Michael Jackson, and then just put the gas on my face. And I just started seeing I just started seeing real talk, that's what he did. And I just started seeing
Fucking
mad
hell.
colours, bro. I started seeing mad colours, like just every colour you can ever think of. And then I just passed out. And then like when I woke up, my arm was back and it was in a sling. But yeah, bro, I want to pop my shoulder out again just so I can have that high. It was that good.
Love it. That's not his first time he said that, is it? He loves doing that. He's taking the piss out.
He's still saying it now.
Hey, David, thank you so much. Cheers, mate.
Big love, man.
So there he was, our David, here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe and leave a rating, leave a review. That stuff just takes a few seconds and means a big deal for me. Thank you very much for letting me put myself out there and be vulnerable. I'll be back next week with episodes with Baby Queen, David Holmes, and who else? I can't keep up, Paint It Black. Yeah, amazing hardcore band. I speak to Dan Newman, who was also in Lifetime, Kid Dynamite. If you're into some... I'm not doing a very good job there, but hardcore punk, Dan Newman, coming hot on Monday the 13th. See you then.
He was mate, I need to stop my phone from sliding down. Let me.
It's like watching porn, isn't it?
Yeah,
you got to find a good position.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Let me put the Sky remote there. There we go. Yeah, mate.
What is that? Was that a flex? You got Sky.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.